here tonight to talk about our hashtag that we've been using in stories and posting throughout the week. So that was hashtag miracle. And it comes from a quote from Mandino in a book called The Greatest Salesman in the World, correct? I have that book. I should know. It's a little hot pink book. It's totally cute. Stands out. Anyways, it's a great read. The quote is, "I am nature's greatest miracle." So we're going to go around and share what that quote and the hashtag meant this week, and starting out with Coach Carmen.
Thanks, Noelle. That is great. You know, hashtag miracle was fun because we were just entering a new year, a new decade. It's fun. It's fabulous. You know, I was traveling across Canada through Christmas and New Year's and the holidays, and it was going from one extreme of weather to the other extreme of weather. And what I found with nature's miracle, being literally nature's miracle, with the weather and having the new year and what's possible in the new year, had me thinking hashtag miracle. So what stands out for me this year is in 2020 is my words are being a visionary coach and a relationship coach. My words stand out to me this year in 2020 with my miracle because it is my vision, inspiration, and purpose. So my purpose this year is helping others find their vision, find their why, their purpose for what they want to, what they're inspired about. So vision, inspiration, and purpose all rolled into one in hashtag miracle this week. And it was fun for me. Thank you, Noelle.
Awesome. So the beauty of Canada inspired your thoughts and your travels. So awesome vision for this year, Carmen. Thanks for sharing. All right, Denise Jones, what are you cooking up with Miracle?
Hi. Well, Miracle to me is just that miracle. God's creations is a miracle. Everything I see, my sister lives in Florida. She's like, "Oh, it's 81 degrees here. What a miracle," because it was freezing here, you know. So in God's beauty, I see a miracle. In my grandchildren, it's a miracle. You know, just family in general is a miracle. So I just looked at it as everything that was in my life or surrounds me is God's creation, and that's a miracle. Back to you.
Hey, amen to that. You look at, I have a child, and looking at him and knowing that he's a part of myself and my husband is truly a miracle. So I can definitely feel that on family with you, but also just, like you said, all of God's creations. I see the miracle in that too. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right, Trina, with your beautiful blue wall and sweatshirt.
Can you tell my favorite color?
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for having me on. So I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of what Denise said. You know, life in itself is a miracle, right? You know, when you wake up and you have your health and you're, you know, that you're breathing and you're able to crawl out of bed and be with family and loved ones. I mean, to me, that's a miracle in itself. And so, you know, I could go on and on all day about miracles. We see them around us all the time, right? You know, and yeah, bad things happen, but miracles come out of that as well, right? You know, there's things that happen for a reason, and, you know, it's all about how you look at life and everything. And so to me, when I look around me and, you know, living in the country and I can step outside and see miracles every day. My animals, you know, nature, all of that is all around us. So I love the fact that I am nature's greatest miracle and God created me. So.
Oh, that's super special. I love that.
Thank you.
I was picturing the animals on the farm. I would feel the same way if I got to be a part of that whole process. And I think that having that attitude of gratitude helps us to see and appreciate all the miracles around us too. So thank you for sharing. And I'm moving on to Rachel Ortens. Go ahead.
Thank you, Noelle. This word was interesting for me because two things came up. One, that we use this word a lot as an expression, almost in a sarcastic way. So it made me become more aware of that. And two, it made me look for the miracles in everything. And so a miracle is something that you can't explain. It's just like, it happens. It's divine. It's something that just is, you know, it happens and there's no explanation as to why it happens. But we can create miracles on a daily basis. We can create things with our God-given gifts and talents and energy. We can create miracles for ourselves and for those around us every day. If we want to, it's a choice to create those miracles. So we don't necessarily need to go outside and expect to see the Red Sea parting or, you know, things like that, that were truly miracles that were written down in the Bible. But we can create small miracles on a daily basis. And that's just something that is our God-given talent that we can do. And it, again, like Trina said, it is all perspective. So something that might happen for us and we might think, you know, or someone else might think, well, that's not a miracle. But to us, it is a miracle because that's our perspective. So yeah, it was just kind of, I had a lot of different thoughts kind of running through my head, and it made me look, that hashtag made me look for opportunities to create those miracles. So back to you.
Yeah, I agree. And I think like Carmen said, it is a special time of year to notice miracles as well, by bringing family back together and receiving and gracing people with blessings. And what I heard you talking about too is the supernatural element behind miracles. And again, it's just not something we encounter, but when we give ourselves time and space to notice, which you did with this quote and hashtag this week, then we're making them and noticing them and our part in them. So it's really cool. Thanks for sharing, Rachel. I appreciate it. All right, Todd, how are you this week?
Good. You?
I'm great.
You
Thanks.
all right now?
Go for it. Tell us about Miracle.
Life in general is a miracle. Everything around us that we see, my boys, family, and the hashtag just made you realize how appreciative we should be of everything that we have, and a lot of things we take for granted. And that's about it. Thank you. Thank
you. And yes, you do showcase your family and your boys. And I remember reading, I wouldn't recommend anyone reading it while they're pregnant, but it's a really cool read. It's what's going on in there. And it's the whole development in the whole gestation process. And just the fact that our ears alone develop in the shape and have all the tiny little hairs and the right amount of liquid in there so we keep our balance. The fact that we're all walking around with working parts is an absolute miracle. So I don't know, I digressed, but I see the miracle in our children too. So, all right. Thank you so much, Todd. Wendy, Rochester, you are up.
Hi. Okay. Well, this year, my family, we've had actually several miracles that have happened, but this hashtag made me think of, you know, people are looking and praying every day for a miracle in their health and their finances and so many things. And I feel like that so many of us have things to offer other people if we just open our mouths and talk to them, talk to the people who need something, that we can just be, you know, that miracle. You know, when someone is needing something, we offer that to them, you know, your business or, you know, your help as a coach or whatever. You know, that really could be what the miracle that someone is looking for. And that's really kind of the way that spoke to me, and just in a different perspective.
Thank you so much for that. That definitely spoke to me. And you can look at it as an I am statement, right? So if we don't have an I am statement that we're telling ourselves that's positive, this is a great place to start, right? Mm-hmm. Because we can, as Wendy was saying, remind ourselves that we are all connected and we are nature's greatest miracle, and we don't have to doubt our abilities and our talents that can help the next person. So thanks for sharing your heart on that, Wendy. That's awesome. Dana Taylor Bell, you are up next.
Good evening. Yeah, so this hashtag miracle, it made me think of everything is a miracle. Like you all were saying, Denise, Trina, we wake up in the morning and we are able to take a breath of life. That is a miracle. And coming, we just celebrated the Christmas season, which is the miracle birth. And think about the stars in the heavens. That's a miracle. The way the earth is on its axis at a specific tilt, that is a miracle. And just God's creations, everything in life, it is a miracle. And we are made in his image. That's a miracle. Back to you, Noelle.
Amen to that. That is awesome. Thank you for that perspective, Dana. And I go back and listen to that again. And I noticed, you might have seen my face, but not heard what I was saying. I skipped over a person, and I certainly don't want to skip her for the whole time. So Val, I'm going to call on you next. Go right ahead and talk about hashtag miracle in this quote.
Well, I think every year is a miracle. And every year consistently, I remember the scripture verse that says, Philippians 3:13, this one thing I do, I forget what lies behind. That means the stinking thinking, the failures, the disappointments, and press forward to what lies ahead. And that word press forward in the original context means to push hard. And as we move into this next year, we need to push forward with positive energy and remind ourselves every day to add value to people, God's greatest creation. People are his creation. And when we add value, love, and consistently give of ourselves to them, his greatest creation, everybody wins. So that's my take on miracle. Each year is a miracle. Press on with great strength, positivity, and love on some folks every day.
Wow, I love your enthusiasm. That is so great. And yes, you talked about every new year is a miracle. And so I riffed off that and didn't quite get your quote exactly correct, but we shared the same thought, and I just love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. All right, so now I'm going to go to Shauna. Shauna's joining us here tonight. So excited to hear from you, Shauna. Unmute. I'll go ahead and mute. You unmute. Can't hear you. There you go.
Just so involved with what Val was saying, I just kind of got the whole thing. But the hashtag miracle really made me really sit back and think, because as a lot of people have touched on, we walk out our door and there's miracles every day, right? But I was so aware of it, and I just kept thinking about miracles every day, and just these crazy things would pop up. Like today I was vacuuming and I went out to the porch and opened the door, and there's this beautiful deer sitting there. That's one of God's creations. She was a miracle, and she was beautiful. So I'm like telling the dog not to bark, and Randy got my camera and took a picture of it. But there's miracles everywhere that you go. And gratitude. We do, I think gratitude is a miracle, because not everybody lives with gratitude. And when you can, and that changes your whole perspective, you see good and miracles where other people might not. So, yeah, I love miracles. I see them every day.
Awesome. Yeah, I went out and took a video of our backyard because we have lots of birds and things like that. So every morning get to go out and take part in that part of nature's miracle. So thank you so much, Shauna. All right, so that I don't miss anyone, Lisa Armour, you are next.
Thank you, Noelle. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the hashtag miracle, I think for me it meant, I know like everyone, generally touched on like health and wellness, but for me it really did touch home in the last probably 2 to 3 years. My husband was really sick for quite some time. He had 2 seizures and one I actually witnessed, which is really horrible to witness when you can't do anything about it. So besides just, help him not like choke on his own blood. So it was a difficult situation. But prior to that time, my life was just more superficial, like what bag can I get for the fall season and just all those things that really don't matter. So then when it went into where my husband was really sick, it really puts into perspective that the only thing you really want is, your loved ones to be super healthy and that everything else does not mean a thing. And it really puts into perspective things like that. So, and as everyone else touched on, it is definitely, miracles are perspectives. Like as soon as you wake up, you've already experienced your first miracle because you're breathing and you can see out of your own 2 eyes. So it is really a perspective thing. One of the documentaries that I really enjoyed, if you guys ever get to, if you're ever down in the dumps and you're feeling depressed and negative, I really enjoyed this documentary called Happy. It's very positive and, there's people in there that they have no shoes and they're living in a shanty in India and they are happy as can be. So it's all about your blessings and counting what you have and being grateful. And so that's just like a big miracle in itself, all of that together.
Yes, all of that for sure. And I think back when Rachel was speaking, I was thinking, thank you for sharing that documentary. My husband loves documentaries, and I'm sure that one will be on here in our house. I was thinking of a book called Dying to Be Me by Anita Moorjani. That is a true health miracle that happened to her in her life, and she talks about the perspective, and it's just pretty incredible. So it's can be a bit of a life-changing book. But thank you also, Lisa, for sharing a little bit of where to point people for some inspiration on their viewpoint of life. I appreciate that. And we are going to wrap it up with Kibi Whitehead. I can't wait to hear what she has to share. Thanks, everyone. Go ahead, Kibi.
Well, thank you for having me. I don't even need to close after Lisa and everybody here on the panel. But Lisa kind of just spoke what I was going to speak about, being grateful. So one thing I did, and I actually shared on the other reveals, I thought I'd share again because I thought it's pretty neat. I typed in Google, like, how many people on Earth? And there's actually a count up. So it's called a worldometer, right? And it's sitting here spinning. And there's births by the second. You guys ought to look at it, right? So there's over 7 billion on Earth right now. And you want to talk about a miracle. We all have a different set of fingerprints. We are uniquely and wonderfully made. And to tie up what everybody said about health and perspective and prosperity in our businesses, no doubt, not leading with lack, that we are truly nature's greatest miracle. So I want to just close out with this class, because people are the miracle and we're all here, and it's the people. And what Val's talking about, if we just love on people, we get back what we give. And this class is all about breaking the internet with kindness. So many people ask, why do you do these reveals? Why do you do these hashtags? Why do you do these stories? That's why, to connect with people so we can show a different perspective. True miracles, which is connection through people. It's communication. It's building relationships and truly loving and supporting on people. And that in itself is a miracle, because we're all here in this community doing it and we're pioneering it. And eventually these Zooms will be packed with thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people replicating and duplicating stories sell. So with that, be blessed, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you do watch, drop a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Bye.
Bye.